Okay.
Uh,
And what time is it? 5:02?
5:01.
Okay.
5:01.
Efficient.
Minutes from September 27th were sent out. Hopefully everyone had a chance to read them. Do we have questions, discussion, corrections?
Well, no, I guess it would be on this one. So no, nothing.
Okay. All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as written.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are approved unanimously. So moving on to the financial report.
Here's all of the line item balances, expenses, and all that jazz.
Just to go back quickly, Justin, to the repairs and maintenance,
That negative.
where we
Yeah,
have.
we don't have enough budgeted for repairs and maintenance, but we have enough of a overage in our circulating materials budget that I don't expect that to be an issue. The only
Okay.
thing that ultimately matters is the bottom lines in the operations accounts and the personnel accounts, because you can't move money between those.
Right,
But when it comes to the individual line items, it's there's a lot more flexibility.
okay.
I just hope that in the future, if you're going to have an overage in the repairs and maintenance, that you just budget for it too. I rather, I mean, this is a budget, so this is what we are expecting. And so if, it goes over immediately, that's, just play with what Matt says, put in over $1,500 or $2,000 for repair and maintenance, if that's what it's going to be, or lower something else, get rid of postage because you don't use postage or something, do something like that. I would like a real amount for just to show that you are budgeting, and not rely on Matt to say, oh, well, you just gotta, it doesn't matter. It's just the bottom line. It does matter to me, that you are looking out for these things. So that's in the future. That's not, when you do your budget for next year.
Point taken, Ally. Thank you. Okay. Any other issues? Everything looks pretty much in line.
Yeah, there's not a lot of movement since last month.
Okay.
Now, did you check with Cheryl whether
I did. I'm still figuring out how to best report those, because the dust is still settling, because Jean had to turn over the accounts to Cheryl, who then had to invest them with Bartholomew. And so it's going to be a bit until I have a good way to report that, because the statements come from Bartholomew monthly, but they take into account a lot of market volatility. They take into account, like unrealized gains and losses that are based on, how the market is doing right then. There's a reason that Jean only reconciles interest and all that on those accounts once a year, because they are long-term investment accounts. I mean, what they're doing month to month does not matter as much, and we can't reconcile that frequently. It would just be a nightmare amount of work for the treasurer's office, the finance office, Bartholomew, and us to do that. But I can get reports, and I'm hoping that by the next month I'll have a way figured out to sort of parse that out.
Are there quarterly reports?
They're the statements from Bartholomew.
Right, so quarterly would be good.
well, but
We
he
can
said
get
monthly.
but I mean, the numbers are just not really ever going to be input into my ledgers. They would just be really for y'all to look at.
Okay, no, that would be good. Just, I don't want to wait a year to see how much interest is being
Right, but
earned.
quarterly would be fine.
Right now, they're losing money.
Everybody is.
Everything
Everybody is.
But
Well, I
again,
don't understand that because the interest rates have gone up.
No, the investments are, I don't want to talk about it. It's not a good time for our retirement account to be
No.
canning. So anyhow, yeah. Okay, if we're good with that, we can move on to the director's report.
Everything's ticking along smoothly. We can talk about Oktoberfest, the auction, and the party whenever we get to the Friends section, but that's been, the lion's share of what's happened at the library the past month.
Looks
Mhm.
good.
Now, the hard part's going to come of getting these items dispersed, because the Friends have specified pickup windows, but people don't pay much attention to them.
Mhm.
Our replacement hotspots are here and they're working. I don't have any word yet from the Board of Selectmen onto whether ARPA will pay for any of the service contracts, but I don't think that they've yet allocated any of that money. So I don't think anyone has any word yet.
Oh, cool. That's good.
Somebody came in one Saturday morning and just slapped something on the circulation desk. And turns out it's Lucius Marsh's original rough draft and research notes pertaining to the history of the town of Douglas.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That
Cool.
was something that was really awesome that just kind of fell into our lap, which Rebecca's going to have a field day with. And
Oh, wow.
monitors and the graphics cards upgrades that were approved at the last meeting have been installed, and everyone is happy.
Nice.
Good.
Very good.
A big old bag of candy for Monday.
Do you have to dress up?
Here on Monday.
Do we have to dress up?
Well, we're going to, but I mean, y'all don't have to.
Okay.
If you want to.
I'll think about it. I used to think Thanksgiving, Halloween used to be my biggest holiday, and I've gotten away from it totally. Anyhow, if we're okay, we'll move on to old business. The first is building projects, handicap access. Nope, not yet. Electric sign update. Yeah, I looked into it. The sign they have at the Oxford Library is big. It's fancy. They went with top of the line. They spent a total of about $40,000. They used some of the state funds for it, but she said they have some money set aside. And I explained our situation of, and she's aware of it, of our work towards handicap accessibility. So we'd have to really rethink the importance of an electronic sign at this point.
Yeah, I had a meeting with her like 15 minutes after you were there talking to her. She was like,
she's so nice. She
Mhm.
is. She says, oh, I'm good friends with Justin. Maybe she was just not, maybe she was lying.
I only knew a guy at Oxford.
Oh, he's been gone a long time.
Good. I didn't like him.
He
Didn't do a thing.
Never mind, I won't even tell you what he did. Very moved in what he was doing, but that was a long time ago. But it suited him.
Yeah, Brittany McDougall is the director there. She's not new. She's been there for a while.
She's been there for quite a while. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
She's very good. She's nice. Okay.
So what you're doing with the sign is just getting replacing some of the magnetic letters, or
not yet. I'm going to have to eventually, and that eventually is probably going to be soon. But I did have a volunteer come in and just like sort through everything and sort of clean the backs, and we can get some more mileage out of these. Whenever we do replace them, though, I just want to replace them all with one color instead of four, if that's okay with everybody, because it quadruples the complexity of checking out the signs, where we've got to take off all the different colored letters and sort them out and get them where they belong, and then get out all one color again, so it doesn't look like a potpourri of the rainbow.
Right.
Yeah,
No, I understand. I thought that some of the colors were brought out certain words, but you're right. If it's all one color, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, book bin update.
I poked Gary last month about the book bin, and he said that he would, he was on it, and then I didn't hear anything back. I sent him an email yesterday to the effect of, fish or cut bait. I'm done waiting for this bin. I mean, I don't really even care about the bin. They offered it, and I thought it would be a good idea, but then
Right.
it kind of disappeared.
Yeah, so what was that?
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of icky books in the friends room that I'm going to get rid of this upcoming week, bin or not. So.
There's that, I know I
New
I hope
store.
it's not competition, but the used bookstore opening across the street.
Oh,
Yeah, I
They're
don't.
Is
looking
that
for
at
books.
Diggers? Is that at
Yep.
Diggers?
right.
Yes.
Yeah, they're looking for books.
Not these books.
No,
They want-
looking, yeah, good quality books. They
Yeah.
were very specific, so, yeah.
Because I did, after the Friends of the Library book sale, I scanned for everything that Baker and Taylor would take back for content credit and got rid of an additional 178 books. But we've got
Oh, good.
some in there that are just not ever.
Yeah, you gotta dump them.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
they don't have barcodes on them. Or not barcodes, they don't have,
Right, that IBSN.
they're so old that
Right, exactly, right.
no numbers.
Some of those old ones do have ISBN numbers in them, and the ones that
Really?
did, I put in, but they just don't want a lot of those.
Mm,
I really liked some of them, and I brought one home for my older daughter who lives in Seattle because it was about Seattle. It was a novel about Seattle. It was really old, but the person had put little comments, or she put a check mark at the front of the book in pencil, and then sometimes she'd write "good" or "ugh." So it was her opinion on it. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
there you
It's like a
go.
fly leaf on a book, but my daughter decided it was ugh. She was not going to read it because it was such an old, dirty book.
Okay, there you go. Right.
And I recommended it too. So
Yeah, so, all right, just don't even do that. Don't even
Yeah.
go down that road. I hear you.
Your favorite talkative volunteer from last year has showed up to go down and claim his auction winnings and perhaps fun a little bit, Ellie.
have you gotten rid of him?
Nope, he just went downstairs.
Oh, great. Well, it's not 6 yet, so
Okay, okay. Tell him to sit
get rid of
quietly. Sit quietly till it's his turn. All right, are we good with the book bin?
I
Other,
mean, if we get it, great. But I mean, if he doesn't email me with it back within the next couple of days, I'm just going to tell him to scrap it because it's easy to cart books to book bins that are already in town. And with the bookseller opening up across the street, I imagine there's going to be a lot of new opportunities for collaborating and, finding ways to divest, things we
right,
out this frustration.
okay. All right. So, moving on to grants in the capital campaign.
We're still at the same number we were at last month, but that's going to jump by around $10,000 in the next couple weeks.
Awesome.
over 10,000 because I haven't put in the 400 from the book sale at Oktoberfest. So
Oh, great.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I didn't realize we'd get into the 136. That's a good number. And then plus the extra.
146, probably go
Yeah.
up to 147 maybe.
Yeah. So
And then we only have 3,000 to go until we get to 150.
yeah. Yeah.
I get so
Mini
excited about
campaign.
stuff like this.
Yeah. Mini campaign to get us to 150, whatever percentage that is.
Yeah.
Reserve some more grant money and we can get there whenever you want.
Hmm.
Mm.
Okay.
Speaking of that, we'll look at other grants.
All of Deb's Cultural Council grant applications for funding next year's summer reading programs are in, including the one that we've redacted, because I don't know if you saw the news about the wizard and such.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he one of the guys that you've, oh my
We've
God.
never had him here before, but we put in an application
Oh
to have
my
him do
God.
one of his
No, I've never heard of
for
him.
the upcoming summer reading program.
Yeah. In
So-
all my years. of
But
programming,
didn't you
I
have
never-
magician this summer, this past summer or fall?
Magicians and
spring?
wizards are totally different.
No, right. No, seriously.
Oh, wait a minute, what happened? I
Come on,
don't,
Ellie.
what
You're
happened?
right, Justin. Because wizards are real, right?
But
Yep,
like I
wizards
saw
are real,
one
magicians
of
totally
the
fake.
things-
But I thought it was somebody from Manchog that came, because
And the
I had
wizard-
seen his name, I don't know, maybe at some other library that he
Yeah.
had come to, and then you had him there
Mhm.
at the library, but it was not the same guy as got in trouble this
I
past
know
week.
that's a different guy. That is a different guy. Ed the Wizard is an awesome
Yes,
fellow.
he's fine. Oh, I've
As
known
I
him for
know,
years.
he's
Yeah,
not, a
he's
pedophile.
great.
Okay.
Oh my God.
That is fine.
We also have a grant in for a cannabis growing program and a Halloween show next year. So
Sweet.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Okay, LRP updates.
nothing new to report.
Okay. Friends auction. Take it, Ellie.
Well, luckily, somebody's written it down for me, but we did
Proud to
really
be
well. We were really excited about the whole thing. If you watched the end of the auction, I was just,
I did too.
Wow, it was
Well, I
amazing.
wanted to make sure that there was a couple of things I really wanted, and the bids were just going crazy.
yeah, they were. And then Harry Potter went over, to 675. It was the high
That
bid
was
of everything, so that was really good. And a friend of mine was the one that had donated it. So I wrote to her and thanked her
Awesome.
profusely and stuff like that. So,
Oh my
We did
goodness.
that for all of our used books.
yeah, all of our used books, what, $675 each?
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Yeah, that was amazing. It really was. So, it went on till like 6:35 or something like that. It was supposed to end at 6.
Oh,
I know. It was supposed to end at 6. And I
Yeah.
was watching them and saying, this isn't right, this isn't right. But they kept coming through. It was like 6:15 when
Yeah,
it finally shut down.
yeah.
Yeah, but the bids were just coming in fast and furious at the end.
that's
Yeah,
exciting.
well, that was exciting. So it was working the way it was supposed to work.
Absolutely. It did, because I bid way higher on the grill gift certificate than I planned on.
Well, yeah, that was going up and up and up. It was,
I
it was
dropped
worth
out, I got
$50.
one. I had bids on 2 of them, and
Yeah,
I let one go, and I just concentrated on that one, which I got
good.
pretty high. Hope it's a good meal.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to cook it. You have to add that cost into it.
That's it.
You're going out. Yeah.
Right, and it's a gift to the library, so.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
So that the
Yeah.
55 should actually be added, right, Ellie? The 1,000?
Well, the 1,000 and the $55 are added to the actual bids we got. We got 8482, and so that,
No, the 55
brings-
is missing because
Oh.
8,482 plus 1,000 is 9,482.
okay. Do you got that, Justin? So that brings it
Hold
up
on.
to over 9,500, right?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
that does. Wait, did I just do that right?
9,537. I think.
Or was the 55 included in the,
9537, right?
Mhm.
but the 55 was not included in the 8482?
It was not, I don't think.
Okay. That's great.
That's just from Donna's email, so.
Yeah.
What happened to the benches from the library?
Nobody.
Nothing.
bid.
You
So I
think
think we
maybe
should have-
the starting bid was too high and so nobody bid?
No, I don't think anybody wanted them. But I think, we should still make it known that they are available for sale and stuff. We don't have to wait until next year's auction, just because they are antique. It's just
I
nobody
know.
will lift them.
You need, yeah, well, either that or you need a mass, you either need a big, like a municipal building,
Yeah,
such as. the
or a church or
municipal-
something.
Is
They're
the
like
municipal
pews,
center
yeah.
would be a great place to put them,
Yeah.
or you need a house with a huge
Yeah,
foyer,
like
whatever.
Schuster's or something like that.
Right.
Well, that was a high price though. Somebody might want them for their garage for $50 or something.
Yeah, but I think they're
Selectmen
worth,
had talked
I
about
think they're worth
buying
that amount.
and then donating to the municipal center to put in the municipal center hallways.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Do you have any history behind them? Does Rebecca found
No,
anything
they were
on
just
them?
here. They were part of the donation of the building. They've been here since 1903.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Because if they hadn't been here since 1903 and they weren't part of that donation, we wouldn't have been able to put them in the auction because that would have counted as, a town asset and you'd have to go through all the hoops for divesting them and all that stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
I
it
think
would be
we should all think about it too, what to do with them. I mean, because I think that they're worth money and, but I understand how they're crowding the space too.
Yeah, it is.
I
It's
like
big.
the benches and would love to have them in my home. They're just so uncomfortable. They're like literal 90-degree angles of hard oak.
Yeah.
Brings you back to the old days of sitting in those pews,
I
huh?
tried my best to justify buying those and I just couldn't.
Yeah. Well, what about the spool from down cellar in the friend's room? The big spool?
know that sold.
I don't think it did. Well, maybe it did, but I just wasn't keeping my eye on it either.
It kind of fell off my radar. I don't know what was going on with that. I'm gonna find out.
I don't know. I thought I don't know, maybe it didn't have a bid. I used to go scroll through and look at items with no bids. So I'm not sure if it was on there towards the end or not.
Yeah, no, nobody bought it.
Okay,
So we can still sell that too somehow.
I'm surprised that there was only $55 in donations.
Well, we weren't really advertising it.
Well, what I did was at the end, you could donate. So I rounded my amount up to an even number by a $5 donation.
do you think that some people who are paying cash or, especially if they're paying cash for a small amount, they'll round it up and we'll get some there?
Perhaps, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The prices are already pretty high, so I don't know if anyone's going to want to round up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Same person, because I had to get my house rolling. I had some people wanted to rent it, and I said, well, you might be able to get a deal because I know them, and I said the least I could charge you is $200 a night, but bid on them in the auction, and so they had bid on them because they wanted the house for 6 days in February, and but then somebody went up to 650, and I think that was not one of the same people. So were there two separate winners
Right.
of the Vermont house is what I'm wondering. or is it the same people?
I'll research that if you want to talk about October 23rd gathering.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah,
No.
October 23rd gathering was quite nice. My daughter counted 17 people, but I can believe 20 people. She could have missed 3. Maybe she didn't count me and her. I don't know. But it was very nice. The food was good. I made nachos and they were delicious. And Caroline brought lemon squares, which my husband today said he had taken, we had brought our sheep in or our lambs in for slaughter. And he said, I'm taking the lemon squares for a snack. When he came back, I said, well, how are the lemon squares? And he said, delicious, very, very good. So, so we had both sweet and savory. Everybody had sort of a nice time, just talking, and it wasn't just the friends or just the trustees or whatever. There were more than that there.
Oh, good. I'm sorry I missed it, but it's the only chance we had to all get together.
Yeah, no, that's understood. It's understood.
Yeah, I had fun. We played some music from the Cirque desk on the Chromebook and had a spread of food on the table across, and I had 4 computers set up for people to bid, but no one at the party.
Oh,
Yeah, and David Metz kept on peeking at them. So
oh, I see what you mean. Mhm.
And there are 2 different winners for the Vermont House.
okay, all right, that's fine.
Right, great. Okay. So moving on to Oktoberfest.
I was away, so Carolyn Dorval was the head honcho for it all, and apparently it rained.
Yeah, it wasn't a great day.
So I think they did okay. $411 is
Yeah,
fine. And you set up upstairs. Did you set up upstairs or
Yeah, we
downstairs?
did. It was raining in the morning, so we couldn't get the books outside.
Yeah.
The weather did clear up later in the afternoon, and it ended up being a pretty nice day. But it definitely started
yeah,
out
the mornings was
windy.
not good.
So
We
we
sat through a soccer game.
basically crammed as many tables as we could up on the first floor of the library and set the book sale up here.
Yeah.
And, I think it went as well as it could have. Even though even though this book sale made less than usual, I feel like it was just as well attended as usual. Although it could just be my perception, because it seems like there's more people when they're inside than when they're outside. But the weather also just drove a lot of people into the library.
And I know there's people who look forward to that every year or twice a year when we have it, or the Friends has it, that they look forward to that. So.
Yeah. So I'm happy with that. The $411.10, adds towards the
Maybe a little bit helps.
9,482, which we now have $55 more there. So,
There we go. That's it.
So, and between that and the spring sale, which I think was over $1,000, then we have, a good, over 10,500 that we've raised. The Friends have raised through the auction and the book sales. So just this year. So
Exactly.
happy that it's working that way.
Right. Now we just have to get someone somewhere to notice how much work's going into raising funds for handicap accessibility. And, years ago, the powers that be said, we don't see any support from the library trustees or the town or the Friends or whatever, as far as trying to raise money on your own. I think that the Friends are doing an amazing job of filling that gap. And I hope that someone's going to notice that at some point.
Well, I sit on the Capital Committee whatever it's called, Capital Improvement Committee. And so I constantly bring it up, well, we raise funds because we're not supported. They're at town meeting in a few weeks. There is a article on it, and I voted against it because it was too specific for me. It was to create a Bartholomew fund for capital, but it was just for fire engines, big fire engines, not small fire engines, but big fire engines, not like a pickup truck, fire truck.
Yeah.
And that bothered me. I thought it was, I'm all in favor of putting money aside for capital, but I didn't think it should be specifically for the fire department. And that's like putting $100,000 away every year. So they constantly hear from me. They're sick of me.
Good. Well, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm tired of hearing from them.
Well, one of my arguments about it being too specific for the fire department, I said, the fire department is well looked after. The town knows that it's absolutely essential to have a good fire department. And if you wanted to do a debt exclusion, it would be passed immediately for a fire engine.
Yeah.
But look at the library. If we have to go for a debt exclusion, it's not going to happen.
Right.
And so that's where I think you should spread out the need for capital money to more than just the fire department.
Absolutely.
And so anyway,
Absolutely.
it's not going to happen there, but I do talk about it. And today there was a capital meeting, and I was there, and Shirley Mazinski, who came to the open house on Sunday, was there. And so she said, well, how did the auction go? And so I got to talk. But at that point, just as she asked me, that's when Mike Fitzpatrick walked out of the room. And, here's the selectman that I wanted to hear, or guilt him into not have been there,
Yeah.
And then Shirley said, well, thank you for your donation to the Historical Society. And and here are the fire chief and Ben Tessino and Dick Vandenberg and Shirley and I were the only ones left at that point. I mean, the minute the meeting was over, and I saying, oh, well, I really like the idea of giving to the Historical Society in the amount that I give them is how old the town is. So it's 247 years or something like that. So that's how much I donated. Next year, they'll get $1 more. And just to sort of say, yeah, I'm supporting more than just the library. I'll do that with the Historical Society too.
Well, that's it. So
yeah, I'm trying to guilt them into stuff like that. They hate it.
I know.
Don't like to hear me talk.
It's frustrating.
I gave 500, something like $500 to the library with all my Amazon shopping.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, we get that quarterly, so thank you very much.
Did it.
Yeah, my shopping, I just got an email the other day, should have generated about $48.
Yeah.
Did anybody, speaking of, how libraries get the short shrift, there was the Crawford Library in Dudley. They've had, when they built that library 15, 20 years ago or so, it was made handicapped accessible. So the committee, whoever comes in to assess that, or I don't know exactly what, but anyway, they were chided for a whole lot of little in the digressions and little issues with the handicapped accessibility. And I'm reading the article, I'm thinking they have, they're accessible. I mean, and they're after really small violations. That did anybody see the article?
No,
I didn't.
It was
I know in Sturbridge they made that accessible, and that was, I started working there, I can't remember when, too long ago, maybe 1990, or something like that, or 89, or I don't know. But anyway, we had a fanatic, handicapped person come in, and they complained to the selectmen and everybody else and made a big stink about the accessibility stuff and the library was accessible. It had, elevators and all that other stuff, but if we got somebody like that in, that might help, but you don't really want that type of person.
No, this was some kind of a state,
Yeah, like they do.
Yeah, nobody ever reviewed
know?
us by the state in Sturbridge.
And I did a lot of programming there in Dudley, and I really can't find any.
Why do you find fault?
Nothing
with
that
that?
was
No, I know,
wrong.
I know.
Right.
So the library director was really upset with that. She's small, inconsequential violations.
And that doesn't look good for her or him.
The article may have been in the Webster Times, so you probably wouldn't have seen it, but
If you could get a copy to us,
yes,
that would be nice. Yeah, I'd like that.
Yeah, I can't find anything.
check Webster Times. That has to be where I saw it.
Okay.
A couple of weeks ago, or within the last couple of weeks.
Interesting.
Well, I think we're a little bit off the town's radar doing the highway barn and all that, and they're really excited about fixing up the upstairs of the town hall, which
I
sounds
know
possibly not such a priority as the library. They don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. That I've always been against, doing anything. But then they'll say, oh, we're overrun with, and that was another thing. It was the building inspector said, I'm going to request a scanner from Capital to pay for, so I can scan all the planning things upstairs. Because nobody can have access to them. And I said, well, how are you going to catalog them? And he said, well, I don't know. And I said,
if you have a printer, you can scan on the printer.
Right, but then you have to provide access. I said, do you know that the library has an archivist working there? And you could, talk with her about a consistent type of cataloging type of concept for the whole town, so that follow
Absolutely.
what Rebecca's doing.
What a concept.
Yeah. So talked, or he came last year to ask for it. I don't know. I can't remember if it's going to be on the. As I say, the naysayer on Capitol. So.
But the thing that gets me, and I don't want to belabor it too long because I know people want to finish this meeting quickly, but we're all in our silos. Everybody gets in their silo, and we're not reaching out across the community to say, if we work together, we can make Douglas a really good place for everybody to be.
Yeah. From,
police, fire, highway, library, schools. It's all interactive. It all works together. But everybody's so worried about getting their little piece of the pie.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me sad. It really does.
Yeah. That was a point too of getting the fire, police, and highway giving something to the auction, and all of them got bidded on.
They did, yeah.
And it just that departments can help departments too.
Yep, absolutely. So that's good. That's a good thing. It's a tiny step, but it's a step,
Mm-hmm.
Huh? All right. Other old business. Hearing none. New business. Hearing none. Next meeting, November 22nd with a question mark.
Well, that's Thanksgiving week, so I don't know if people are fine with that or not.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine
I'm
with it.
okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Are we good?
just gonna
We good with that?
Up there then.
November 20 That's the anniversary of
Oh, Kennedy.
Kennedy.
No, that's 23, isn't it?
No, November 22nd,
Oh,
63, maybe that's what you're thinking of.
11/22/63.
yes, that's what I answered.
Okay, so that will be our next meeting. And I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So
So-
move.
Second?
Seconded.
Second.
All right. All right.